Downward Thrust is a channel that makes gaming reviews, discussion, and essay-type videos, and his reputation has been getting increasingly worse over the last few months due to his tendency to kind of over-dramatize things for the sake of meeting his structure. He's figured out a way to really cheese the YouTube algorithm with his style of content, and he doesn't really care what he has to say in order to make whatever thing he's talking about fit into this formula that he's figured out. But one day I was scrolling through YouTube and one of his videos really caught my eye. It was titled, "Why I'm Quitting Overwatch." 50,000 views, 50% upvotes. Only 50%. Now, if you know me, if you watch my channel, you watch my streams, you know I really enjoy Overwatch. I'm a big fan of the game. I don't think it's perfect, I have a lot of problems with it, but I am a fan of Overwatch, and I want to make this very clear that my problems with Downward Thrust's video about Overwatch have nothing to do with my feelings towards the game. You can play whatever you want, I don't care. What you play has no effect on me, and that's fine. You can make a video bashing all the things that you hate about Overwatch, and I'll stand by and I'll nod my head and agree. Yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with Overwatch, but those aren't the things that Downward Thrust is going to be talking about, which is why that 50% caught my eye. When you make a video talking bad about a game as popular as Overwatch, naturally, you're going to get dislikes, that's just the way it is. But 50%, 50,000 views, and he could only get 50% likes. Something's wrong here. I just had to watch the video. And after watching it, good lord, let's just roll the intro.
Today's video is brought to you in part by Audible. You can use my link, audible.com/downwardthrust, or you can text downward thrust to 500-500 to receive a free book and a 30-day free trial.
Or, alternatively, you can go to twitch.tv/JoeFromSeattle and use your Twitch Prime subscription. I mean, if he's selling out, I might as well do it too.
If you scroll back towards the start of my YouTube channel, you'll see that one of my first videos was a review of none other than Overwatch. At the time, I loved it, and I spent hundreds of hours inside Blizzard's new game. I've always been a big Blizzard fan, and I probably spent way too much time playing StarCraft, Diablo, and of course, World of Warcraft. I was incredibly passionate about supporting Blizzard in any way I could, and although I lamented the critical failure of Titan, I was ready to jump into whatever it turned into. That's because when I find a company I really like, I stick with them, and for me that was the big blue company, Blizzard.
So, you're a fanboy. Got it.
But the ironic part was, I really never got into Overwatch in the way that I thought I would.
But you spent hundreds of hours on it? I mean, that's fine. You know, I've had plenty of games in the past where I'd spend a lot of time on them, even though I don't enjoy them much, but it's just, the way that you're prefacing all this is just very odd.
Sure, I played all the heroes, I learned all the maps, and of course opened up a bunch of shiny loot boxes, but I never felt like Overwatch was one of my quote-unquote go-to games, and that really surprised me. It never enraptured me the way Warcraft 3 did, or Brood War, never coming close to those magical feelings I had when I first set my eyes on the world of Azeroth either. Yet I continued to dabble into it over the last couple years, sometimes binging on it more than a Netflix show, other times taking breaks months on end. It was really weird. I certainly liked a lot of things about it, including the art style, how great the game ran and felt. I loved Reaper and Genji and snatching up people with Roadhog. I liked that it was cheap too, and incredibly focused on the fundamentals of team-based shooting. But of course there were the small things that definitely irked me. The casualness.
Wait, you think Overwatch is casual? What servers are you playing on, and how much would it cost for me to get a spot on them?
Shields and healing being way too out of control.
How? How is healing out of control in Overwatch?
To the toxicity of the community.
Yeah, that was pretty much accurate.
To the simplicity of it to encourage maximum accessibility, and some of the mechanics like McCree's stun being incredibly oppressive.
Of all the things in Overwatch to be considered oppressive, McCree's stun, really? This is part of the reason why people were writing off this video right from the start. You said it yourself that you spent hundreds and hundreds of hours in this game, but right off the bat, you're talking like you've never actually played it.
But I could excuse most of those for the most part. What I couldn't get past was this bigger issue I had with Overwatch that ultimately led to me quitting the game, and that is the fundamental design of the game itself. So I'd like to spend the rest of the video discussing Overwatch, generally and financially, and then talk about the reasons I'm quitting the game. Even before its release, Overwatch experienced a period of pre-release attention not typically expected in traditional first-person shooting releases.
Overwatch's reputation simply permeated through cyberspace like some sort of disease, attracting attention from people who may not traditionally put down $40 or $60 for a new first-person shooter. It received universal acclaim upon release, although there were definitely no shortage of crazed Titan disciples out there that boycotted this ridiculous new approach from Blizzard, because after all, Titan was supposed to be our next MMO, yet the idea was scrapped for a shooting game. And since its release, Blizzard has developed and added new characters, new maps, new game modes post-release, in addition to releasing consistent patches to balance the game. This was all the while providing additional Overwatch updates completely free of charge. They even released various comics and animated shorts based off the game too, and their plans also included a graphical novel, including stories from several in-game characters in the game.
For the love of fuck, get on with it.
And that's not even to mention Blizzard's continued investment in the esports scene in the Overwatch League, where they dumped millions of dollars to grow the
popularity of Overwatch. So it's apparent, despite various criticisms prior to its release, that Blizzard definitely believed in its beloved child resulting from the scrapped Titan project. Just 5 months after launch, Blizzard also hosted their Overwatch World Cup, allowing users to vote for teams to represent their nation or region, with finals taking place during their BlizzCon event.
Okay, I'm not trying to be petty here, but can you please just do something to make these videos more entertaining? I mean, I know I'm not any top tier YouTuber, streamer, person on the internet. We're close to 4 minutes into this video, and you've literally said nothing of substance. You remember what I said about him being overly dramatic with his content in order to fit his mold of videos that he's figured out how to cheese the algorithm with? Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. You built up this entire big dramatic intro, and now we're 4 minutes into the video and you still haven't said anything.
So there's a lot of stuff going on, and you could say that Blizzard is definitely doing a great job supporting their product. Just a year after its launch, Overwatch became Blizzard's highest grossing property, crossing the $1 billion mark in May. That's pretty amazing. During the same year, Overwatch was also claimed to be the second highest pay-to-win moneymaker as well.
Wait, say that again?
It was also claimed to be the second highest pay-to-win moneymaker as well.
And one more time.
It was also claimed to be the second highest pay-to-win moneymaker as well.
Look, if you seriously think Overwatch is pay to win, fucking just hang it up, dude. Start your channel over. And look, even if this was just like a slip up in his writing and in his reading, and he didn't mean that the game was pay to win, he meant paid game, because obviously looking at this graphic that he's showing, he obviously meant to say the top paid game, not pay to win game, just pay to play game. But that really doesn't make it better, because the fact that he didn't catch this obvious error just goes to show how little of a shit this guy gives about his content.
And a year later, Blizzard's revenue climbed up even higher, up 14%, a figure reported directly by the company. And it doesn't stop there. The popularity of Overwatch was so huge that they produced toy guns and Legos and even cereal, resulting in Blizzard's partnership with Lego and Kellogg. And believe me, I've tasted the cereal, and it tastes pretty goddamn good.
I can tell you something that's not goddamn good, but I won't.
These secondary money outlets are just the icing on top though, as the majority of their 2017 revenue was actually commissioned by the game's micropayment systems.
We don't care, get on with the reason why you're making the video.
Totaling up to $4 billion. On the books, it's one of the greatest success stories in modern gaming. Through this entire journey though, I stopped to ask myself the question, why did I never get into Overwatch the way I thought I would? And why did I stop playing it?
Friendly reminder that we're close to 5 minutes into this video and he still hasn't said anything of substance. We started with a dramatic opening with your history of Blizzard, then we went into an excessively long history lesson about the game, and now we're here. Okay.
My main complaint for Overwatch is simple, and it has to do with its design as a competitive team-based shooting game.
Wait, didn't you say the game was casual?
There's nothing wrong with team-based games. In fact, I play a lot of those games, including League of Legends, for example, but there's definitely downsides to them too. Number one is that you're inherently reliant on your team, and without a shadow of a doubt, This is the critical reason why so many people love or hate online team-based games, because in some of them, no matter how good you perform, you'll lose if your team sucks.
This is true. I'm one of these people who has that problem with team-based games. And Overwatch, I completely agree with you. That's one of my main criticisms of Overwatch, is that the solo queue system in Overwatch is a joke. Playing Overwatch solo is a nightmare. Now, playing with a good team, it's one of my favorite things to do. But again, that's very opinionated. Just trying to give some leverage to this guy's video. This is the first actual thing of substance that he's said so far.
And that is a huge pill to swallow. Some games like League of Legends offer a nice middle ground though, in which you can carry the game by yourself if you're good enough. Your team definitely matters as well as your composition, but if you're good enough, you can have a giant influence on how not only the game is decided, but the entirety of your game time as well.
Alright, I've put very minimal time into League of Legends. But even I know enough to know that this is not accurate. But as someone who hasn't put a lot of time into League and who has put a lot of time into Overwatch, I can tell you with confidence that a good player can make all the difference in Overwatch, the same way that it can make all the difference in a game of League of Legends. Neither of these games can be carried by a single person, because that's not the way they're meant to be played.
One of the things that was missing for me was this balance in Overwatch, as I felt overwhelmingly that the team size was one size too big. I never liked the 6-on-6 action of Overwatch because the higher the team size, the more spread out the power is among the team. What I mean by that is, if you want to control the outcome of the game, you have to go through 6 people, not 5.
You just described team sizes.
With less players, it is perhaps more tolerable and easier mechanically to carry. So I find it difficult in Overwatch because of this large team size.
I can't get my head around this. You're criticizing Overwatch for not allowing you to carry people. Like, if you want to carry people and be the superstar, why are you playing Overwatch? That's not what the game is for.
I understand this isn't an issue with Overwatch's team deathmatch mode, but when I play Overwatch, it's to play the main game mode. I would argue that Overwatch puts frustrating limitations on individual play because it's simply too hard to impact the game regardless of how good you are. Usually the better team wins, not because of any individual, but because the greater team is working in unison. You pick the right combination, your healer is actually healing you, you've got someone shielding you, there's a sniper in the back and a nice beefy tank standing in front of you.
I just noticed something while he was on that character select screen. Let's go back to that. And let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit so you guys can see what I'm seeing. And a little bit more. And one more time. 23. Level 23. This man claims to have played the game since launch for hundreds and hundreds of hours. And he's level 23. And that's not just this clip. That's every clip of this entire video. He is always around level 23. Now, I could give you the benefit of the doubt to say that maybe this is a new profile. It's very odd to me how you backed up. You started this video by saying you've been playing since launch, you put hundreds and hundreds of hours into it, but here you are talking like you've never actually played the game, and all your gameplay is from a level 23. Just an observation.
While individual skill is definitely important, combined power is rewarded a lot more.
Yes, you're describing team-based games. None of what you have been saying is actual criticism. You've just been describing team-based games.
One of the ways Blizzard has tried to fix this was to implement what is known as Teammate Finder function, where players can group together as a comp to make the process smoother. It's a neat idea on paper, but when the shit hits the fan in the game, it doesn't fix the core problem. Individual play in Overwatch is always beaten by a unified and competent team composition because Overwatch is, well, a team-based game.
And this is different to League of Legends. How? I mean, I'm only bringing up League of Legends because you brought it up, but pretty much everything you've been saying about Overwatch so far can be applied to League of Legends too. If you don't like the game, that's fine. Just don't play it. You're making the weirdest criticisms I've ever heard about Overwatch.
You can kill Genji as Reaper in about 3 to 5 seconds.
Okay. Let's talk about this. This is coming from someone who's played the game since launch for hundreds of hours. He thinks it takes 3 to 5 seconds for Reaper, one of the highest DPS characters in the game, to kill Genji. A squishy. You can kill Genji in a second and a half. If it's taking you 5 seconds to kill Genji as Reaper, you need to get better. That's no one's fault but yours.
But shooting that same Genji as he is repeatedly getting healed, shielded, and buffed, the entire engagement brings that number up to like 15, 20, or even 30 seconds.
30 seconds to kill a Genji as Reaper? Yeah, that's why you go after the healers, my man. You go after the healers. You're talking about Overwatch like you're a fucking Call of Duty player. Overwatch sucks because I can't kill someone as I'm shooting at them repeatedly while they're getting healed and buffed. Go after the healers. Go after the buffs. Talk with your team. You're complaining about Overwatch, about how a competent team will beat individual play. But then you're whining about getting beat in individual play. Make up your minds, dude.
If the team size was reduced to 4 or 5, that Genji would get less healing, shields, and buffs, which acts as compensation for his or her lack of skill if he, is that kind of player.
Now, if the team size was smaller, could you get into these one-on-one fights more often? Yeah, sure, you could. Whatever. But if that's the experience you're looking for, don't play Overwatch. I can't get over this. You clearly went into Overwatch wanting an experience that this game was never going to give you. And then you make a 14-minute video whining about how it didn't give you the experience you wanted, instead of just doing a little bit of research and finding out that this game wasn't for you. Or maybe actually try to play the game it's meant to be played, instead of talking down on people for playing the game it's meant to be played because they're ruining what you wanted from it. This entire video is built on a faulty premise. If you want a solo shooter, play a solo shooter, man. Stop bashing a game that was never going to give you the experience you wanted.
Meaning all of those team-based abilities make that Genji better regardless of how bad he or she is.
A bad Genji will always lose the fight, regardless of buffs. That's anything. A bad character, that's the whole reason why people liked Overwatch in the first place. Because there's a place for bad players. The more skilled players, the people who are more familiar with the mechanics, more familiar with the combat, those are the people playing DPS, playing, more precision-based characters, Ana, Widow. And then the players who aren't very good, who are just learning the game, maybe they're new to shooters, maybe they're new to class-based games. They can play simpler characters like Mercy or like Soldier 76, who was literally built to be like kind of a gateway character from traditional shooters to Overwatch. Overwatch is a really unique game. And part of the reason why I got into it was because there really is a character for every role and every skill level. But no, a bad Genji. And Genji is one of the hardest characters to play well. I talk shit a lot about Genjis on stream just because he's a fucking annoying character to play against when someone's playing him well. But he's not easy to play well. If you knew anything about Overwatch, you would know that a bad Genji is not going to win a fight just because he's being buffed. It has nothing to do with it. This is why people dislike the fuck out of this video. You so obviously have no idea what you're talking about, but you just don't care. Because you have this specific structure for a video that you're trying to fit.
No matter what you do as Reaper, you have to do more than you normally would to bring him down.
Yeah, God forbid you have to do more than you normally would to help your team. Oof, what a drag, right? Putting effort into a team-based game, yikes.
All the while facing the threats of the enemy team, and that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. Now take each enemy and compound the effects of team-based play across 6 people, and you're looking at some incredible obstacles for any one player to overcome.
Yeah, you're just, oh my god, you have never played this game. You've never played this game. You made a 14-minute video bitching about how much you hate Overwatch because you're trying to play it solo. You're literally not even acknowledging your team. You're trying to play solo up against a team. Yeah, dude. This video is so dumb. I don't even want to finish this, and there's still another 6 minutes left.
And if your team is bad on top of that, or less skilled than the enemy team, you literally have tons of digital roadblocks that you have to climb over, which makes it harder for you to have influence on the game. I understand that this is the nature of team-based games.
Do you understand that? Because I'm really starting to doubt that you've ever played a team-based game, let alone played Overwatch for more than level 23.
Teamwork, but it doesn't mean that individual play has to be crippled or downplayed. You can scale back team sizes, or bring team-based abilities like buffing, healing, resurrections, or CC chains from incredibly oppressive to fair to bring the focus towards skill.
Okay, I'm trying not to let my biases, I'm trying not to let those get in the way of my critiques for this video. But Jesus fucking hell, man. It's I wonder what you think about a game like, what do you think about Solitaire? What do you think about Solitaire? I would love to see why I'm quitting Solitaire. I'm not getting the cards that I deserved. Why I'm quitting Go Fish. There's no Uno deck. What's killing me the most is that you're openly acknowledging that you know this is not the way the game is meant to be played. But here you are bitching about how it's not working out for you in this game. How desperate were you for a video?
Because currently it's less about skill and more about unity.
Yeah, unity is a part of skill in team-based games, you dunce. Have you ever played a team-based game? Have you ever tried to get 6 people together to coordinate an attack? Say, hey, Austin, I'm going over this way. And Austin says, nah, fuck you, I'm going over that way. And then you both die because their enemies are covering both directions and you were trying to tell them that. Yet that's a skill. Communication is key in these games. Yes. It's just, you're so close to getting it. But every single time you almost get there, you just fly off the roads dramatically into a ditch while I film it and watch and record my commentary.
This is the fundamental reason why I've decided to quit Overwatch. It's just not a fun game for an individual player.
Especially at level 23.
Assuming the conditions are consistently not in my favor, aka I'm getting a shitty team, I can do a lot more to overcome that in a game like League of Legends than I can in Overwatch, not the least of which, not having to deal with an extra player. These are the many hurdles put in place for a solo run-and-gun player like myself that make it difficult for me to enjoy myself in this game.
Again, you were right there. You were so close to understanding, and then just, there it goes, goodbye.
This inherent sporadicness to skill levels doesn't just affect the moment-to-moment gameplay though, it affects the entire night of gaming for me. In Overwatch, I've found that there are basically 2 types of matches. You get blown out, or you blow out a team.
No.
I crave the games that come down to a wire, the back and the forth. But honestly, I don't find that many.
Then you're not playing very much. Yes, there's going to be blowouts. There's blowouts in every single multiplayer game. It's not like close games never happen unless you're going out of your way to make them happen so you can make a fucking video.
It's old news that Overwatch's matchmaking systems have and always have been shitty at best, pitting players of all skill levels against each other, especially when 2 players of wildly different ranks queue up together.
Yeah, you pretty much nailed that one. Yeah, Overwatch's matchmaking is pretty garbage, but it's a lot better than you're describing it to be.
That seems natural, but even when queuing alone, you see some of the most lopsided games in the history of competitive play.
I don't know. Have you played Black Ops 4 on PC? 'Cause, yikes.
I'll be the first to admit that it's not fun to lose a competitive online game. It's a lot less fun, though, to lose a game knowing that there was very little you could do to change that outcome.
Yeah, guys, there was very little I could have done to change the outcome of this game, besides, not try to be a run-and-gun player in Overwatch, a game designed to be team-based. Yeah, there's nothing I can do, guys. Sorry, game sucks, I'm quitting.
Which cycles back to the idea I was talking about in regards to Overwatch being difficult for individual success. I'm the type of person that wants to have a big impact on how a game ends, so maybe I was never the right type of player for Overwatch.
Yes, there we go. You got it, bud. There you go. It only took you 9.5 minutes.
I like the idea that when I play Street Fighter, if I'm better than my opponent, I'm gonna win. I like that if I keep cool in League of Legends and keep farming my ass off even when my team is feeding up a tropical storm, I can still win that game as Master Yi. Overwatch isn't like that. It's about the small and numerous accomplishments of the many and realization that sometimes, no matter how good you aren't going to win that game. This was something I could never come to grips with.
Pussy.
It was probably my fault for approaching a 6v6 game with the mentality of someone who wants to win every game because I was good.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. You get it, bud. You got it. I'm proud of you, bud. I'm proud of you. I'll leave you something on your desk tonight. I'm proud of you.
But it's not unfair to players to assume that their skill will play a viable role in each match, because that's what video games are all about.
Are you implying... No, I thought you had it. No.
Yes, team-based games are about being good as a team, but I would argue the best ones are about being both good as a team and being good as an individual.
Like in Overwatch?
Often in Overwatch, individuality gets trumped in a way that makes it hard to see that. And that is to the core of Overwatch, something that no patch can fix.
Then why do we have play of the game? Then why do I always see Junkrats getting... why do I always see Junkrats and Hanzos getting triple kills with their ults? Those were individual things. They were annoying and cheap, yeah, but they were still individual. You realize there's a middle ground, right? Like, you're talking as if individual play has zero to do with your success in Overwatch. And that the only way to succeed in Overwatch is to have a full six-team stack of complete communists who don't care about their own individual achievements. Like, you realize there's a middle ground, right? Or are you just ignoring that for the sake of a downward thrust video? Don't answer that. It's rhetorical.
I'm quitting Overwatch because of how Overwatch was designed, and that's not a problem with the game.
Then, what? Oh, boy.
My complaints would be hollow if I didn't give praise to the amazing work the team at Blizzard has done to make this game great for other people. Overwatch is an incredibly fun game to play when you're winning because it's one of the smoothest, polished, and most detailed shooting games on the market. Still, there's questionable consistency to Overwatch. When you lose, it's really frustrating, especially because the game focuses so heavily on team accomplishments over individual skill. So if you do really, really well, and you play your heart out and you still lose, it feels all the more shitty. There are large, very large gaps of satisfaction between winning and losing because of this. If Overwatch gave more focus to individual play, I feel like it'd be a great game for me.
Okay, this is a little thing, but it's just something I noticed in his gameplay. That just shows, let me just run this back. It just shows how little he actually knows about the game. This diva is dead, and he's continuing to heal her. Like, this is the Diva Mech's death animation, and he's continuing to heal her in it. Was there even an effort here to make it at least look like you know what the game is about?
Especially when the games have nice and cooperative players who are flexible with hero picks. Unfortunately, toxic players are the cherry on top to this equation, making the frustrations of losing said games in Overwatch even worse.
Or, instant replay, you stand in place and take 200 damage from a Symmetra turret that was at your feet in plain view, and then blame the game for not being designed for you. What was that about being good that he said before?
Toxic players are the cherry on top to this equation, making the frustrations of losing said games in Overwatch even worse, because they rub it in your face.
Yes, it's everyone's fault except mine. Always, always. Everyone's fault except mine. I love this attitude. It's a great attitude to have. I'm being sarcastic.
Overwatch isn't a bad game. In fact, it's really good. It just didn't serve me and my needs as a gamer that appreciates when team-based games are both fun in a team environment and a solo environment too.
You know, there are solo modes in Overwatch. There's deathmatch. There's one-on-ones. There's random heroes. You even mentioned deathmatch earlier in this video. Fuck me for actually paying attention to the details. I know that's too hard for you.
Certainly, Overwatch can definitely be enjoyed by any one gamer as an individual, but those moments are too few and far between for me. Now, before I wrap up this video, guys, I want to talk a little bit about Audible as they made this video possible.
Yeah, there's a shining endorsement of Audible. And then the last 2 minutes of this video are an Audible ad. This video is a fucking disaster. I'm honestly shocked he kept this video up as long as he did. This video just sums up my problems with Downward Thrust, and channels like him who have this very specific structure for a video that the YouTube algorithm likes, and they don't care what they have to say in order to fit that structure. It doesn't matter that the video makes no sense. It doesn't matter that it's obvious you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, because you're gonna get the views. And you're gonna get those Audible sponsorships. I hope you enjoy that Audible sponsorship, and I hope you enjoy those clicks, because you're the only one. I can't wait for his next video, why I was wrong about Overwatch, to come out in, I don't know, 3-4 months. In fact, I'm calling it now. By May 25th of 2019, he will put out why I was wrong about Overwatch. You can quote me right now. May 25th of 2019. Before then, he will put out why I was wrong about Overwatch. Overwatch is a game that is not for everyone. And that's fine. No game is for everyone. But you know what else isn't for everyone? Game critique. Anyways, that's gonna be all from me. Thank you so much for sticking through it all the way. If you enjoy the content, feel free to subscribe. And if you would like to see more of me, go ahead and go on over to twitch.tv/JoeFromSeattle. I stream every single day over there. And if you feel like it, go ahead and give me a follow on Twitter. See what I'm up to over there. @JoeFromSeattle1. I have no beef with Downward Thrust. Obviously, I'm just a little nobody channel on YouTube, but I do have beef with people who just don't give a shit about being truthful and about being honest with people. I do have beef with people with 300,000 subscribers and yet continue to do these things that people just don't like. But most of all, I have beef with level 23s.